Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series, and it looks like we've got White Weenie versus possibly Blue-Red Aggro. You typically don't see Rattle Chains in Blue-Red Control either version, but White Weenie has an Anointer of Champions Expedition Envoy, he just threw down Anafen's a Kindred Spirit, and he has a flipped Gideon, Battleforged. And he's painting for mana with the Battlefield Forge, so Griff's Boon on Anafenza. Honestly, I was expecting him to go with the Expedition Envoy so that he could attack in, and then, well, then again, 2 power makes it, and since it's a flyer, makes it a little bit difficult to actually attack in with your flyers. But manning up Gideon and attacking all in, Rattlechains blocks the Expedition Envoy, so he takes a total of 5 damage. It goes down to 8, and then throws down another Rattlechains. Yeah, Blue-Red's in a bit of a spot here. He's not looking so good. He's going to have to come up with an answer for Gideon, which theoretically isn't going to be that hard. If he is running Blue-Red aggro, a Gold Knight Castigator would be a good solution. You know, drop it into play, swing in. Because if memory serves, it does have haste and 4 power. Icefall Regent. Well, that will handle one problem. So Anafenza will be tapped and stay tapped. And he does have a chump blocker for Gideon. And most likely, unless White Weenie pulls something pretty drastic, he would probably just attack in with Gideon and then use the Anointer of Champions to turn him into a 5/5. But at the same time, he doesn't really need to use the Anointer of Champions because, you know, Gideon is going to be blocked and, you know, prevent damage, he's indestructible, blah, blah, blah. Throbbing Inspector. Alright, that gets him a clue token, which, you know, now that we're getting into the later stages is actually really helpful for White Weenie because he's really low on cards. Anafenza turns the Anointer into a 2/2. He plays a Hanweir Militia Captain, and he's got a lot of choices for where to put those 1/1 counters. Throws it on the Throbbing Inspector, so now he's got a 2/3. The only problem here is Gideon is going to die. Oh no, I forgot. +1. Untap a creature, make it indestructible. But it doesn't give it vigilance. So he just passes the turn. But it saves Gideon. Keeping this guy up and indestructible means that the Icefall Regent can't touch Gideon. And Thunderbreak Regent. Alright. I don't see any reason not to run these guys in a, a blue-red flyers type of deck. I mean, Thunderbreak Regent is just pure value at that mana cost. Icefall Regent is also really good. You know, it's 5 mana is kind of high on the mana curve for a deck like this, but when it can potentially eliminate a problem permanently by keeping it tapped, you know, it's not a bad card. And moreover, it is not a bad card, period. Declaration in Stone on the Thunderbreak Regent. He's going to take 3 damage for it. Blue-Red has a response. Silumgar's Scorn, he controls a dragon, so it's a hard counter, so Declaration in Stone is countered, and he still has to take the 3 damage from the Thunderbreak Regent, which I imagine is probably going to get directed at Gideon. No. Okay, he's going straight face with it. Now, the militia captain has flipped. He's now the Westvale cult leader, and he's a 4/4. But White Weenie still doesn't really have a very good trump card to go on the offensive here. I mean, his creatures, the 4/4 will trade with either of the dragons, provided he blocks. But, given his situation, he pretty much has to. Honestly, he could man up Gideon and attack all in here, because the potential return attack is only 10 damage, though if this is the typical deck list for a blue-red Flyers deck, all he would need would be a Gold Knight Castigator, and he'd be able to swing in and win. He did not activate Gideon. He's just attacking in with the Westvale Cult Leader. And since he's at 8, he has to block here. So he chump blocks with the Rattle Chains. And he's top decking. I just noticed. So unless he draws something pretty good off the top of his deck, White Weenie has a pretty good chance of winning this game. And making Anafenza indestructible, so now he has an indestructible flying blocker. And Cult Leader lives, so it makes a Cleric token. I'm trying to think of something that would really help Blue-Red here, and I'm not really coming up with much. I mean, Crush of Tentacles? After, if he attacks first and then Crush of Tentacles, he could reset the board. But at the same time, White Weenie can rebuild his board a lot faster than Blue-Red can. So, unfortunately, I don't think that there's a way that he can win here. Icefall Regent is attacking in. Draconic Roar on the indestructible creature. And hits Gideon. And he concedes. And he concedes the whole match. That's unfortunate. Well, unfortunately, we don't get to see a game 2, but, some interesting gameplay here. That came right down to the last couple of turns between these two decks. It wasn't a one-sided fight at all. So, like I said, unfortunately, no game 2, but, good enough. I'll end the video here. That was White Weenie versus Blue-Red Flyers. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.